Good morning, everyone. Again, on behalf of the organizers, I'd like to welcome you for this session today, where we're talking about the top business and technology trends in government. Okay, 2024 and probably 2025 as well. It seems like it's trending on the same path. All right. My name is Faris Shaddad. I represent Gartner in today's session, and I'll be happy to walk you through few statistics. Okay, we have some trends that we see coming. Okay, that already some of it took place, and probably more to come. Um, but let me ask you this. I mean, I would usually I'd love to have a session to be more interactive. Okay, I'd like to ask you a question. Okay, apparently it will be a rhetorical question because I would not. I mean, I will not be getting some feedback from you. Um, if the genie just showed up, okay, and granted you wishes, but not three, only one. Okay, one wish is granted to wish for your government to give you something. What is the service that you would require from your government that you feel that it is missing, that you will ask your government to have? Okay? I mean, for the audience who's here, would you like to share something? Innovation? Okay. Technological innovations, maybe to adapt more to technological innovation in the government and in the services that the government provides you, right? Okay. Focusing on security. Amazing. I mean, this is very good 2 points to start with. But we need to remember something very important, the challenges that the government's at. Okay? I mean, you look no further. I mean, if you look around you, you see the challenges that are taking place around us. Let's take a look at some of the challenges that we see around us. Right? Global turmoils, cyber threats, regional conflicts, local pressures, increasing citizen demands. Okay, this is some of the factors that are affecting our lives on a daily basis. Do we agree to it? Of course we do. It's all around us. All right. Um, one one I mean one pressure and one challenge that governments see nowadays is basically several challenges coming from everywhere. Okay, not only from the external factors that we see here. Okay, but sometimes it's the pressure of the citizens, as we said. Citizens are asking for more products, more services. They care about the quality of life. And the government is sitting in the middle to serve, to be able to accommodate what's happening outside, all the pressure that comes in from the outer world, and at the same time to accommodate the demand of the citizens all around. So therefore, for today's presentation, we're discussing the business side of the story and maybe the technical side of the story. Where are the trends helping? I mean, trending and the challenges and what the governments are doing. Okay, what are the governments are facing? One thing for a fact, okay, one of the biggest challenges that the government has, which is an internal challenge, is basically what we call in the world of IT is the legacy systems. Okay, is the legacy system a concept that it is familiar to you? It's the old computer systems because you have a lot of organizations, I mean a lot of government organizations, ministries, hayat, other semi-government entities, they have been using IT for the longest time, right? So they have built so many, they invested so many money, time, resources into building their systems. All of a sudden, it became a legacy with a lot of challenges, a lot of demands on the services of the governments. So some of the systems that they have, it became some sort of old, needs to be updated. All right. One of the biggest challenges that the governments have today, how can we upgrade? Okay. from our exposure to a lot of government entities all over the world, upgrading those legacy systems is not an easy task. Bloody expensive. Luckily for us, we have a new technology nowadays, and we will talk more about it today, that probably will help us. All of us probably used by now, I mean, in abundance, ChatGPT, right? Okay, ChatGPT is an application of generative AI. So what has generative AI has to do with government legacy systems? Think about it. Okay? Because of our exposure, all right, by 2027, generative AI will be used to look at the legacy systems and entities, government entities, to help the government entity identify what is this legacy system, what are the details of it, and how to plan to improve it as well. Isn't that powerful? It's an amazing revolution, because the alternative to that is basically to suffer, for the entity to suffer and to spend a lot of money and bringing a lot of consultants to know the history of 30 or 40 years of the legacy systems, to be able to upgrade it or maybe change it, or modernize it. Okay, is the key word here. So by using generative AI and helping modernizing the old legacy systems at governments, we're saving up to 70% of the cost. So we have generative AI on one side, and we have the traditional way of modernizing our legacy systems. Gen AI is something. Do you think this is a good takeaway already for you to know and to take home with you? Definitely, it's something to consider, using generative AI and looking at your legacy systems for future enhancements or modernization. Okay, as I said, governments they are in so much demand, and they are sitting in the middle trying to accommodate all the pressures coming from everywhere. Okay, the first pressure is the demand by the citizens. Okay, the citizens, they're acquiring more services, they wanted a better quality of life, and they wanted more and more of the government. So that said, the government, the decision makers, the policy makers, they're pushing the IT people, and every time I mention CIO here, we're talking about the IT organization within the government. So they're pushing CIOs to become more innovative, to be able to serve the citizens in a more proper or more advanced way. The second pressure, okay, which is how to accommodate all the pressures coming from everywhere else, which is the economical part of it, and how to ensure the quality of life based on the economical factors, and provide the citizens with a good quality of life. The third, okay, is basically to make things happen. All right. I mean, we know, and as citizens, we know that our governments are investing in technology, investing in changing, investing in everything, conferences, visions, what have you. It's part of our government's promises. But the pressure is here is to diverge and to come up to see the value on the ground. We as citizens, we need to see the value manifest and to be taken advantage of. All right. So this is the pressure that is on governments as well, to show the value, okay, to the citizens. So, as I said, we'll tackle the subject of today from two different perspectives. I'll share with you some numbers and some trends, what's going on from a business perspective and a technology perspective. Okay, for trend number one, okay, okay, managing trust and digital, all right? So probably by today, we have reached a point where we trust how to make a transaction on our cell phone, maybe to buy the plane ticket or to order our food. This is a transactional that has gained a lot of our confidence. We know that when we transfer our money from one account to another account, it is a secured transaction, 100%. How about other technologies that it's being adopted nowadays? Let's mention the computer vision. Let's mention the racial profiling issues. So there are so many technologies that might affect the trust and citizenship and the citizens and taking advantage of the services or to bring the lack of trust and citizens. So we see that governments are looking into enhancing this trust and citizens' eyes to be able to gain more ground on adopting technologies. The second we see is the institutional resilience. Okay, institutional resilience is basically we have to have our governments ready, strong, to be able to accommodate any changes so fast. Okay, to be able to accommodate this in a manner that it could recover and adapt so fast to the changes around it, whether it's coming from citizens, economical regulations, or what have you. So the government entity, it has to be resilient, all right? So by 2026, which is basically just around the corner, okay, in a year's time, we're predicting that G20 members will experience a monthly electricity rationing, okay, basically to worry about electricity consumption. The reason of this trend is basically adopting technologies nowadays is electricity and energy demanding. Okay, for a quick example, is basically we're talking about cloud adoption, whether AI solutions, all of that requires a lot of computing power. A lot of computing power will require energy. So energy is one of the issues that we see that it has been trending, that government entities are looking at how to save and how to accommodate that. Okay, enough that we see a lot of government entities and energy and technology providers are looking into traditional energy sources and non-traditional resources. We're talking about sustainability of energy, okay, whether it's renewable energy or nowadays we started to hear back the nuclear energy as well, okay, to be able to accommodate the energy demand that the computing power needs, okay. Some technology providers are looking at building nuclear plants to be able to feed the energy. The next trend that we see is basically experience management. Experience management is basically looking at the citizens, okay? Whatever that we need to do, it has to be a customer-centric or a citizen-centric solution, or solving a citizen issue directly through the citizens. When we say citizen-centric, is basically, bringing the citizens to be part of the solution, and they are on the table making the decision to be able to resolve or to come up with issues, okay? So by 2026, again, 87% of the government CIOs, okay, will increase investment in producing positive citizen experience as a critical business outcome, all right? So we're investing more and more into bringing in the citizens to be able to come up with solutions that serves the citizens. Okay. The next, okay, executive executive data advocacy, which is basically we need to focus on more, okay, on data. The power of data is where everything lies. So managing data from top, from the decision makers, okay, to filter down on how to govern and how to manage the data is very important. All right. Nowadays we see a trend that it is where governments they are focusing more on organizing their data. They govern the data. They're making it ready to be able to adopt any new technological or maybe advancements that they need. So by 2027, 50% of data analysts will be trained to become, okay, data scientists. And the current data scientists, they are being trained to become AI engineers, okay? So basically this shift is taking place because of the power of the data and how to manage data and to make sure that it is ready to be adopted, all right? So that it's a very powerful trend here is basically people are moving, so data analytics, it became like a norm, okay? In every organization you talk to today, they have a certain level of maturity when it comes data analytics. So the next step up is basically is how to utilize this data in a more predictive and more intelligent way to be able to manage the challenges that we have mentioned earlier. Okay, workforce productivity, all right? We're talking about government entities. The challenges that we have, all right, is basically the productivity of the workforce on such entities. Whether finding the right skills, whether upskilling, whether how to measure the productivity and how to move forward to be able to accommodate, okay, what is demanded on the organizations and the governments and making things happen. So by 2026, okay, 70% of the government agency will use AI to enhance human administrative decisions making and will measure the productivity increase achieving that way. So basically, we're augmenting, okay, the workforce with AI solutions and AI agents to be able to help elevating the productivity without replacing our workforce, of course. Okay, so this is something, it's a trend that we see that it's happening today, okay, whereby AI will be augmenting the workforce to achieve the productivity that we're seeking, to elevating that level of productivity. Okay, with that said, okay, this is pretty much what we see as a trend all over when it comes to business challenges, okay, in the government sector all over. Let's look at the subject from a technological perspective. And we all know that as with technology, okay, a lot of advancement, a lot of innovation is taking place. It's rapidly changing, and the poor governments in the middle, somewhere they have to deal with it as well. So we see a trend of how to accommodate the technological advancements and moving forward. To start with, okay, the concept of adaptive security, okay, with cybersecurity is a very important aspect, okay, big challenge to a lot of organizations, government and otherwise, all right. So the concept of adaptive security, whereby utilizing AI to enable how to predict, okay, how to manage attacks, incidents related to a cyber attacks or cyber incidents, or to use, okay, to adapt with whatever attacks are coming in, or incidents, or possible even incidents, because there is an intelligence part of it here. AI is part of the story, and to be adaptive, to be able to move, to learn from whatever happens, and to adapt to a new, to a better secured networks and systems as well. This is where the concept of adaptive security comes in. So by 2028, multi-agent AI in threat detection, incident response will raise from 5% to a 70%. Imagine, okay, from 5% to a 70%, AI will take place in helping, okay, with the detection and incident response. Okay. Then we move to the digital identity ecosystem. Okay, we see governments all over the world, they wanted to make sure they're taking the lead when it comes to digital identity. What is a digital identity? It's basically, it's the concept of, authenticating and verifying that you are who you claim that you are in your transactions, all right? Okay, you don't have to go to any place anymore or show an ID to be able to go through a transaction. So the digital identity is a trend all over. It's taking place just for the governments to adopt, to be able to serve the citizens, to protect its interests and services in a way. So people, as we all know, people living in Saudi Arabia, okay, and the digital identity part of the story is extremely mature, and with Abshir and Nafad is something that we see as an example. Every time this subject mentioned somewhere else, okay, they refer to Saudi Arabia's success, and when it comes to when it comes to digital identity adoption and application. So by 2026, more than 500 million smartphones will handle transactions related to digital identity and transactions. So this is the prediction. More than 500 mobile smartphone will handle digital identity related transactions, okay, using your digital identity. Next is basically AI for decision intelligence, okay. When it comes to AI, adoptions of AI is something, it's trending all over the world, and definitely we need government, they have to take decisions. What we need to make it more intelligent decisions. That's why we need data. Data, to make sense of data, is basically we're bringing AI into the story to be able to help us, okay, with the prediction and to making a better decision. Okay, so by 2026, over 70% of the government agencies will use AI to enhance human administrative decision making and will measure the productivity increases achieving that way. So again, bringing in AI to be able to elevate the level of decision making. Next is basically digital platform agility. When we're talking about platforms, okay, we're not talking about websites or applications. We're talking about more powerful platforms that serves, okay, our purposes. Today, as a government entity all over the world, okay, I have challenges whereby to be able to scale fast, to innovate. Everybody's asking me as a government entity to be agile, to be able to accommodate the citizens' requests, citizen demands, and to cope with the technological demands, and to cope with the security threats, and cope with everything else, and to be innovative, and to scale up so fast at the same time. So the digital platform agility is one of the trends that we see a lot of governments are thinking seriously on moving to the cloud, okay, and using high power generated infrastructures to be able to accommodate the need for scalability and innovation and agility as well. So 75% of government by 2025, which is next year, immediately next week, in 2 weeks' time, okay, we have 75% of the government will expand the adoption of platform services for modernization, okay, with hyperscale cloud providers delivering half of the workload, okay. This is the magical word here, is basically by next year, a lot of government entities, okay, 70% of them, 75 of them will adopt cloud and cloud providers and hyperscalers to be able, okay, to move, or to move their 50% of their workload to the cloud, okay, to be able to accommodate the innovation and the requirements and the agility as well. All right. Does that sound like a ring a bell? Okay. If you are living in the kingdom, and if you're involved in one of the wonderful measures that measures the maturity of the digital transformation maturity of organizations in the kingdom here, is Qiyas. Qiyas is basically, one part of its mandate for next year is basically the 50% mark that we're talking about here. The 50% mark of overload of your workload needs to be on the cloud. Okay. So this is part of the trend, and we see it happening in front of our eyes in one of sample governments, like in Saudi Arabia. Next, okay, a trend that we see all over, again, the data management story. All right, data management story is basically whereby we have to organize ourselves, okay, to be able to make ourselves data ready to be able to accommodate any innovations, technological innovations to be. So when we are data ready, that means we know how to store our data, to manage it, know how to govern it, okay, to make it available for any innovations that we have. So by 2026, more than 60% of government organizations will prioritize investments in business process automation, up from 35%, okay? So currently it's a 35% adoption, okay? It will move up to 60% by 2026, all right, by adopting what we call the process automation, which is basically making sure that our data is very well managed and help us in our automation, process automation. Okay, short and sweet. Okay, this is what currently what we see as trends when it comes to business challenges and technological challenges, that trends that the governments are seeing nowadays. Okay, thank you so much for bearing with me for the past few minutes, and it's been a pleasure. And one thing that it is required for me to share with you is basically a survey. Oops. Okay, this is something that the organizers asked to do, is basically to fill up a survey on your feedback. يعطيكم العافية.